Hello, hello, hello. Can everyone hear me okay? Well, guys, I'm going to do my entire intro again because I forgot to turn my microphone on. Thank you so much for being patient with me. First, I'll introduce myself. I am Jessica Paxton. What I do at TelWare is a little bit of training. So some of you I know I've already met when we did your install. I do a little bit of marketing, and I'm also working on creating a knowledge base for all of our customers so that they can go in and find some self-service tools and maybe a place they can go to get their questions answered. We also have a few TelWare employees that are going to be on the chat watching for your questions or your concerns. We have Coley and Brian. So if you have any questions, pop those in the attendee chat and we will either answer you right there in the chat. If it's something more advanced that we can't take care of right away or something that involves, getting a technician, then we'll open a support ticket. Or, Coley can interrupt me and say, hey, Jessica, slow down, or go over that again. So all your questions, go ahead and put those in the chat. The goal of today's training is to go over the remote user tools that are included with OneCloud. And some of you might be asking yourself, well, what's OneCloud? Because I bought GenVox. Guess what, guys? They're the exact same thing. The marketing team and the management, we just decided to change the branding, to change the name. So when you're looking at OneCloud and everything I talk about today, it's exactly the same as GenVox. We simply changed the name, changed the logo, changed the green to blue. That's all we did. But everything else, functionality-wise, it's all going to be exactly the same. So if you have any questions about that, feel free to let me know. But what we'll do is we'll go over the user experience. So that's your typical employee. I'll show the mobile app. So we'll go through the mobile app, getting it set up, logging in, that sort of thing. And I'll go over the web portal. Each user on the system does have access to both of those powerful tools. So let me go ahead and set up my mobile app so I can show it to you. Give me just 1 second. We'll get that set up. Now, if you haven't downloaded the mobile app yet, the first thing you'll want to do is go into your app store, whether it is the iPhone Apple Store or the Google Play Store, and you'll want to download the app. It's called OneCloud, no spaces. So whenever you're searching for it, just OneCloud. And I'll even give you a tip. If you are in the iPhone store and you search for TelWare, it shows up a little bit quicker. Let me go ahead and share my screen. Yep. Thank you, Ms. Coley. Haven't quite gotten there yet. Perfect. So everyone can see my screen now. And if you look right here, this is my OneCloud app. Here it is. You can see this is exactly what the icon looks like. So as you're searching in your store, you'll want to look for that icon. Like I said, if you're on your iPhone and you go into the App Store, you can search for TelWare, TelWare, and it shows up right there. That's where you're going to install it. Once you get it installed, you will have a few notifications that pop up asking you for permission. One thing it'll ask you for is access to your microphone. Keep in mind, this is a phone, and to make phone calls, you do need access to your microphone. It'll also ask for your contacts. That one, just so you know, they're read-only contacts. So you don't necessarily need to worry that it's going to save your contacts on the phone system because it's read-only. It allows you to access your contacts, but it doesn't necessarily save them on the phone system anywhere. Someone did just ask, if you have the GenVox app, do you need to switch over? You don't need to today. Both apps are updated. I don't know if we're going to keep the GenVox app forever, though. So because we are moving towards the OneCloud branding, so you're more than welcome to update the app. But right now, both of those apps do work, and they are both updated at the same time. The only difference in them at this point is the colors. The OneCloud is blue, and the GenVox is green. That's the only real change. They're all, vanity changes. There's no changes in the functionality. So once you get the app installed, it will prompt you to put in a username and password. Most everyone should have already gotten a welcome email, and it looks like this. If you haven't, just pop your name in the chat, and someone will send you a welcome email really quickly. But this welcome email, this is how you get logged in. Downloading the app is great, but if you don't have a login, it doesn't know who you are, it doesn't know what phone system you belong to, etc. So when you get this welcome email, it's going to have your name here, and then it'll have a login for you. This login is how you get into the app. But you also need a password. So by clicking the button below, this button here, it will allow you to set up a password. I'll show you what it looks like. Set up a password and a voicemail PIN. You'll use the password along with your login information to log into the app. You'll also use your voicemail PIN if you need to log into the voicemail. But I'll show you 2 other ways to access your voicemail. That'll probably make this obsolete. This is more the old school way where you call into your mailbox and you put in your PIN and then you listen to the prompts. I'll show you an easier way to access your voicemail in a little bit. So, like I said, if you haven't gotten that welcome email or you don't know how to log in, just go ahead and put your information in the chat and we'll send one over to you. So let's go back to our app now. I've already set up my app and I've already logged into it. And I've logged in here using a demo account. So you'll notice these aren't real employees at TelWare. This is our demo account. But I'm logged in because I want to show you all the different functionality of the app. When you are at home, or out of the office or gardening or wherever you're at, if you're logged into the app and someone calls your extension, meaning they're going to call me on my extension, it will ring both my app and my desktop phone. So I get those simultaneous rings. So if someone were to call this extension, it would ring and I'd see it there. I can see visibility here on my contacts list. We'll start right here, contacts list. I can see visibility for my coworkers. If I look here, McCoy, he's not logged in, so he's gray. If I see here, this user is red, which means they're currently on the phone. Green means they're not on the phone. Thank you so much, Brian, for doing that. And then if I have a little blue chat bubble, it means that that person is either logged into the chat or they're logged into the web portal, and then I can send them a chat message back and forth. And we'll talk a little bit more about chat in a little bit and how you can use that to communicate between coworkers, okay? So from here, when I'm looking at my contacts, it's showing me my coworkers, and I can simply click here. I'm going to click right here. It gives me a few additional options. The little star up here is adding someone to my favorites. So if I wanted to add this person to my favorites, I could. I can also hit this phone symbol here to call, and it's going to call their extension. Now, because this user is on the mobile app as well, it will ring their mobile app and their desktop phone. I can also chat. So this is going to be an instant message chat, and we'll talk a little bit more about that in a little bit. And here I have an option to send the user an email. And when I click this, it'll simply open up Outlook on my phone and let me send that person an email. If we had other phone numbers programmed in for this user, maybe a mobile device or a home number, you would see those listed here as well. But for this particular person, we don't have any of those numbers programmed in. I'm going to hit my back arrow to go back to the contacts page. Let's say I wanted to call someone not on my contact list. Let's say I wanted to call, a cab company. because they have a number that I've memorized. I did it a little quick, so let me do it again. I can hit this little dial pad right here, and I can make an outbound call from my app, and it will show my office caller ID. So whatever caller ID we have programmed for you on your desktop phone, that's the caller ID this app will show. So let's say you're calling a patient or a customer or a vendor, and you don't necessarily want that person to see your cell phone number. Call them from the mobile app, and they'll see your caller ID from the office. So I'm going to go ahead and hit the X here. Now that I'm done showing you that, I'll show you a little more later on call options. But first, I want to go through these bottom options. So that was contacts. We can also, we can do a couple more things here. At the top, I can add a contact if I would like, and this person would be added to my extensions contact list. It would not be added system-wide. The OneCloud system does allow system-wide contacts, but that's actually set up in a different spot. So just know that this is your own personal contact list. Okay. Any questions so far that we can answer? All right, let's move on to the next one. See this little icon right here? It's the little tape. That is your voicemail. So remember when I said earlier, you can set up a voicemail password. You can always dial in the long way and listen to the lady in the box, give you all the options, or you can do it right here from your app. When you have transcription turned on, there would be a transcription right here of that voicemail message so that you can read it instead of listen to it if you needed to. On this page, when I have more than one voicemail listed, what I like about it is I can pick and choose which voicemail I want to listen to. I don't necessarily have to listen to them in the order that they are presented to me like you do the old school way when you dial in. So from here, I've gone ahead, I've clicked on this voicemail. I want to show you a few options. We have the play button right here. That'll play that voicemail. This one right here would allow me to switch it on to speakerphone if I needed to. Here, I can call this person back using the caller ID information that they had when they called in. That's especially useful if someone forgets to leave their phone number. You know, that happens. Here I've got a save. This will move this folder into my saved folder, where it will stay indefinitely until you run out of space. This one is a forward button, and forward would allow me to take this voicemail and send it to someone else. So I've clicked it, I've forwarded my voicemail to someone else. You know, this might be extremely useful if you have a receptionist voicemail who normally takes in all those voicemails and then sends them where they need to go. The info button right here will give you more information on that voicemail. So I can see, you know, time and date it was received and some other options here. But I'm going to hit my back arrow. And then last but not least, I do have the trash can to delete this voicemail. Let me go ahead and do that. I'm going to delete this one. Now, I don't have any voicemails here, but up here in the top, if I wanted to either go into my new or saved folder, I can click this drop down. The new is the one I'm in right now. If I go to saved, well, I don't have any saved voicemails, but if I go to trash, I do have a voicemail in my trash can. The voicemails in your trash can will be auto-deleted once a day, typically at midnight Eastern is when they delete those. So don't put it in the trash can unless you really want it to go away, because once it's deleted, we cannot get it back for you. While we're talking about voicemail, another common thing that we set up for our customers is called voicemail to email. What that does is anytime you get a voicemail, it will take it, package it up with the transcription and the audio file, and send it to you as an email. If you are interested in voicemail to email and you are a OneCloud customer, it's no additional charge. All you need to do is let us know, either in the chat or by emailing support@TelWare.com, and we'll set up voicemail to email for you. So if you have users that want to get their voicemails, but they don't necessarily want to get the app, or maybe you're closed, so you don't anticipate getting incoming calls, but you still would like to check your voicemails, this would be a tool for you. We can set up voicemail to email. Are there any questions about voicemail so far? I haven't seen anything pop up recently. Okay, perfect. Let's talk about the next one, which is instant message chat. You can see my chat icon right here. When you are logged into the app, you do have the option to instant message chat between coworkers. So as you can see here, I have a few chats that I sent earlier today, and I'm going to go ahead and click on one right here. So from here, I can instant message chat with my coworkers and say, hey, did you get the report? Oh, I'm bad at typing. There we go. Did you get the report? Thank you, autocorrect. And it will now be sent to my coworker. Because my coworker has this chat icon right here, I know that they are logged into the chat either because they have their app or because they are on the web client. When you do get a chat, if you don't have the app open right away, it will show up as a notification, similar to a text message, except instead of the text message icon, it'll show that it's a OneCloud message. So you'll see it in your notifications. When you're chatting with coworkers, you guys, I'm going to show you my favorite part. You can send emojis. Oh, there it goes. Hello, James. So as you can see, I wasn't looking at that one right away. You do get a notification like this whenever you send a chat, or receive a chat, rather. Let's say I message Philip, because Philip is not on the chat. You notice he doesn't have his chat icon. That's okay. If I send Philip a message and he doesn't read it within 5 minutes, sorry, he'll get one of these. So you'll get an email that says, hey, you got messages. And it will also include a recent history. So anyone that's not logged into the chat, you can still message them and they'll still get the notification. They simply won't get it right away like they would if they were logged in. They'll get it as an email. One thing that not everyone is set up for, but something we can think about for future is you can actually send text messages here as well. So if I needed the ability to text message a customer, this can change from chat to chat and SMS. That's something we can, you can think about for the future if you think you need it for your company. Let's go on to the next one. This is the little phone with the clock on it. That's going to be our call history. So if I click here, I can see all my call history. I can also click this drop down at the top to switch. Let's say I only want to see my missed calls. There we go. I can click on missed calls. And from here, I can click on any of these entries to call that person back. I can also click the little I for more information. So that would tell me the type of call, time and date of the call, duration of the call, and some additional options here. All right, great. Missed call is exactly that. Everyone knows how to use that. So we'll go on to the next one, which is our menu. When we open up our menu, you'll notice a few different things. First, I can set a status message. This might be something like, I'm on lunch or I'm working from home. So we'll put my status message there and we'll hit this check mark to save it. And my status message will be displayed in other parts of the app, and it will be displayed to your coworkers. So make sure whatever you're putting there is coworker friendly. All right, I hit that X to go back to the main menu. Here we can also manage our answering rules and our greetings. I'm going to go over greetings first. Let me go ahead and open that up. So from here, I don't have a voicemail greeting recorded, which means when a caller calls me, it's going to play the default. But if I wanted to add a voicemail greeting, I can go ahead and click that add button. I can give it a name. We're going to call this work from home. Done. And then I'm going to tap to record. So at this point, when I tap to record, I would say, hi, this is James, and I'm working from home. You know, it might take me a little bit longer to reply to your voicemail. Thank you. Have a great day. Now, once I've recorded my message, I can either hit this to play it, I can redo it, or I can save it. I'm going to go ahead and save this because that was a perfect message. Go ahead and save. And now you can see I have a voicemail greeting here. But simply making a greeting doesn't necessarily turn it on. So I'm going to click on this little arrow, and then I'm going to click select. Now this voicemail greeting has a check next to it. That is my current active greeting. If you wanted to have multiple greetings here and then swap them on and off, that's exactly how you do it. You select the greeting that you want and then hit the select button to put the checkbox next to it. This is how you change your current active greeting on the voicemail system. All right, I'm going to hit the X to exit out of greetings. Are there any questions on this section, greetings or voicemail? Okay, let's move on to answering rules. See, right now I only have one default. When you're in your answering rules, this is how you would manage your incoming calls to your specific extension. If you remember nothing else, remember that answering rules is for your extension only. So when I change these, it's not going to change my main telephone number. A lot of the things that we're going to talk about today are extension specific. And I know we've gotten a few tickets from some of the people watching this webinar about changing your greetings on the system level, whether it's your main 1-800 number, your main 704 number. So let me talk about that briefly. If you need a change to your main phone number, that is not done on the user side. That's done on the administrative side. So if you have an admin account, we call it usually the office manager account. If you have an office manager account, we can help and show you how to set that up. If no one at your location has done the office manager training and doesn't have that account, that's no problem. You can email us at TelWare, support@telware.com. Tell us exactly how you want it set up. You know, you want a special greeting that says, I'm closed for this time. What does the caller hear when they? Okay, I'll come back to that one. So if you want a special greeting to play, you know, that says we have higher than normal call volume, or we're working from home, or we're currently closed, anything like that, then you'll want to send it to support@telware.com, or if you are an admin, you can log in and do it on the admin side. During this particular training, I do not plan on going through the admin portal, but I'd be more than happy to help anyone after the webinar if we need to do that. All right, now that I'm done there. Coley, did you get that chat? Let's see. What?
I've got the chat. Yeah, Angela, I'll talk to you about that afterwards if you can hear me. Otherwise, I will, I'll give you a call after the presentation and we'll talk about that.
Okay, thank you so much.
Perfect.
When we're looking at answering rules, remember I said earlier, the answering rules are when someone calls your extension number. So in this case, I'm logged in as 6101. If someone calls 6101, what does it do? Well, right now, the only thing I have programmed in here is default. And what default means is it's going to ring all of my phones. So my desktop phone and my mobile app. If I was logged in on the web portal, it would ring that too. An answering rule, though, you can set up special answering rules. I might set up something that says, I'm at lunch, send all my calls to my coworker, or I'm in Do Not Disturb, send all my calls to voicemail. By default, this default is 24/7, which doesn't really matter if you're not in the office. If I'm not in the office and someone calls my office phone at 9 o'clock at night, I don't hear it because I'm sleeping. But if you have the app here, you would hear it and you would get that ring after hours. So there are two ways you can set your app up to not turn off. The hard way is answering rules. You can set up a custom answering rule that says between, after 5 p.m. until 7 a.m. the next day, go send all calls to voicemail. The easy way, I'm going to show you the easy way first. I'm going to exit out of here. To go back to my menu, I'm going to close this so I can show you one more time. I'm going to click on my menu button right here on the bottom right. And then you see this log out button right here. This is the easy way, guys. I spend a lot of time in the app. So this is typically what I do. 5 o'clock, I hit log out again, and I am not getting those calls. If you do stay logged into the app, you will continue to get calls that are going directly to your extension. That's just the nature of the way that the app works. So I do like to point out that log out button for everyone. I will talk a little bit more about answering rules in the next section when we get to the web client, because from here, you can't add a new answering rule. You notice there's not a plus sign here. All I can do is view them and rearrange them if I wanted to. So to actually create a new answering rule, you do that from the web portal. All right, I'm going to show you guys one more thing on the app, and that's active call options. So to start, I'm going to go ahead and call Tom Paris here. All right, perfect. When you are on a call, that's fine. It's sending me to their voicemail. Oh no, but that's fine. When you're on an active call, you have similar options to your desktop phone. You'll notice we have a speaker here, so that simply puts it on speaker for me. I have a mute so that I can mute that call. I can put the caller on hold, and then they'll hear hold music until I resume the call. I can add a call, therefore making a conference. I can pull up my dial pad. Let's say I need to type in a number. I can do that. Or I can do a transfer. So similar to how you would transfer in the office, I can use this transfer icon to send a call to one of my coworkers, whether they're on the app or the web client or they took their physical phone home. I can transfer it to their extension. You can also transfer to cell phones or external numbers if you need to. I'm not going to press it, but this switch phone button right here will actually take my call and send it back to my desktop phone. So if I were to go to my office and hit this switch phone button, my desktop phone would ring, allowing me to swap over seamlessly. Okay, the customer wouldn't notice. It would just swap over with no hold music, nothing. You also here, you've got your big hang up button. So once I'm done with that call, I can press that to disconnect. Also, one thing we should note, if you're using the mobile app and your extension is set to be recorded, the calls from your mobile app will also be recorded, okay? So don't, treat it just like you would your office phone. Are there any questions about anything I've gone over so far on the mobile app, whether it's contacts, voicemail, chatting, any of these? Are there any questions so far? Okay. Well, I don't see any questions. So the next thing I wanted to go into is actually the portal. Let me get my Chrome pulled up. Here we go. Here we go. It's perfect, perfect, perfect. Okay. So some of you, when we did the training, we did tell you about mygenvox.com. You can use the exact same username and password in myonecloud.com. They go to the exact same place. Like I said, it just has different colors and looks a little bit different. But when I'm first going to get logged in, I'll go to this URL right here, myonecloud.com, and I will use the same username and password we use on the mobile app. So that's going to be the username from your welcome email right here, and the password that you create in your complete setup. Let me show you. I'm going to open an incognito window so I can show you what that looks like. Oops, forgot the my. There we go. So this is what your login is going to look like, where you put in your information, you're going to put in your password, and then you click login down here. But I've already logged in here, and I've logged in as James on extension 6101 on our sales demo, so I can walk you through this. I do have some additional options here, such as manage organizations, and you can see that I'm masquerading as James. That's because I'm an admin on the TelWare side. You guys won't have that option, so you can just ignore it. When I'm logged in as James, as a basic user, it will bring me to a page that looks similar to this. It will allow me to do a couple of things. I can navigate here in my navigation simply, just like I would navigate on my mobile app, except this is on the computer. I can also open up my web phone using this link here. I can open up my attendant console using this link here. Attendant console is primarily for a receptionist, so I will show that briefly, but I'm not going to go into a huge amount of detail. Let's first go over these options here. When you're on your home page, it will list out your new voicemail messages right here. Remember, I deleted my message earlier today. Probably not the best for trading, but that's okay. So I don't have any new voicemail messages. If I did, they would be listed right here. Similar to the mobile app, I can play the message, I can delete it, I can forward it, I can interact with the message in all those different ways. I can also, if I scroll down a little bit, see my recent call history here. From here, I'm going to switch from the home page and I'm going to go to the messages page. The messages page will allow me to open up my voicemail and my chat. So from here in voicemail, remember I don't have anything in my saved or new folder, but if I go to my trash, we'll see here's my voicemail from earlier today where I can play it. I can click to call that person back because I have clicked the call on Chrome. I can forward it, I can download it, or I can move it to the saved folder. Here, if I click on the chat tab, you can see the exact same chat that I was looking at earlier today. It's simply on a different device. So if you prefer to do your chatting on the computer, then you might like this method a little bit better than the more text method on the cell phone. When I click on one of these chats, it'll pop up and allow me to chat here. I'll show you another way to chat in a minute that I like a little bit better. Let's first click on settings. So settings here are for my individual extension. Remember, I'm logged in as James, so I can edit James's settings. So I can do a few different things. I can turn my voicemail on and off. I can send my voicemails, copy them to another extension. This is extremely useful if you have someone, on leave or on vacation. So here I can send all my voicemails to Rachel. Here's where I can manage my voicemail greeting. Remember earlier when I made that greeting work from home and I turned it on? This is another way that I can do that same thing. I can change my voicemail greeting. I can click the drop down and select which one I want to be the active greeting. I can also record my name from here. When you record your name, that is what is listed in the dial by name directory if we have that in your auto attendant. Not all auto attendants or companies use that feature, but if your company does use it, you'll want to come in here and have your name recorded. Most people have already done this because when you log into the voicemail for the first time, using that voicemail button on your physical phone, it does require you to record your name. So more than likely, if you've ever logged into your voicemail, you've already done this part and you don't need to worry about it. Today, your greetings are audio. But in the next release, which I believe is coming April if the COVID-19 thing doesn't push it back, in the next release, you'll also see text boxes here that would allow me to type in a voicemail greeting. So if I don't necessarily like the name of the sound of my voice, or I simply don't want it there, I can type in a message and then it would use Google to play that message for me. So it would do text to speech. If I go down a little bit into the unified messaging section, this is where I can set up my voicemail to email notification. There's quite a few different options. The one we typically recommend is send with attachment. What that does is it will send the voicemail as an audio file attached to the email. You'll also see the transcription there, so you can listen or read your voicemail. Now, you can either set it to leave it as new, you can move it to saved, or you can move it to trash. My only word of warning is if we move it to the trash and it gets deleted, and you delete the email, and then you call and say, Jessica, I need my voicemail, I can't help you. It's gone. Once it gets purged from the trash, there is no way for me to recover it. So by default, we typically, leave them as new and then tell the user to go in and clean out their voicemail, as they need to. But you're more than welcome to change it if you don't like doing that and you want them to automatically go to trash. You're more than welcome to come in here and update this for yourself. If you've made any changes to your settings, just remember to hit the save at the bottom when you're done. Perfect. Any questions on the messages tab so far? All right, let's go into contacts. I don't think I have very many. Okay, so by default, it's going to show me my coworkers or the contacts that are on the phone system. I can see their department, I can see their status if they had one. Rachel's on vacation, James is on lunch. Or I can also see my personal contacts. So if I wanted to add a contact here, just go ahead and do it. Just make up a number. Go ahead and add my personal contact. Jessica, that's me, would now be listed in my contact list. There I am. Because this is my contact on my extension, no one else is going to see it. So keep that in mind. If you have those system-wide contacts, whether they're vendors or insurance companies or the local pizza place that you need on everyone's list, you can email them to TelWare or do it on the admin side, okay? Perfect. So I'm not going to go into a lot of detail on contacts. I'll show you another way to access your contacts closer to the end of the training. Let's go into answering rules. Answering rules. This is going to be a big one, guys. Answering rules, I would say 90%, maybe even 95% of our customers do not use it. It is an advanced feature that you really see when you have those hyper users. Trying to think of another way to describe them. Those people that like to have, really precise control. They have really exacting needs for very specific stuff. Most people are 100% happy with the way that their extension is set up by default. And the reason that is because there's all these settings we can do on the admin side, on the system-wide side. So if all your calls come in through a main number and, at night they play a special greeting, and then during the day they get filtered in certain ways, those are all done on the system-wide level. They're not done on the extension level. So most extension users don't edit this. But I'll show you very, very briefly how to do it. The first thing you'll want to do is actually not in the answering rules. The very first thing you want to do is create a time frame. So we'll switch over to time frame really quickly. Keep in mind you can't have an answering rule without a time frame. So I'm going to make a time frame here that's going to say bagel time. If my coworkers know one thing about me, it is how much I love bagels. So I'm going to set this thing up. We can either do always, we can do days of the week and certain times, or we can do specific days. Let's do specific days. So I'm going to set it for today, starting at 12 a.m. And I'll set it to end today at 11:59 p.m. So you see I have to move my hour and minute bars here. Then I'll click save. So this is great. I've told the phone system that today is bagel time, but I haven't quite told it what to do with bagel time yet. So then I would go over to my answering rules and I would click add a new rule. So here I would select my time frame. This is bagel time. Whoops, I accidentally unchecked that. Bagel time. What do I want to happen during bagel time? Well, I want my phone to go into do not disturb because I cannot be disturbed while eating my bagel with cream cheese. Or, you have all these other options. You can forward to another phone, you can forward to another extension, et cetera, et cetera. Once you change your options, you can go ahead and click save. Don't worry, I didn't go through all these options because we're running short on time, but at the end of the call, I will send a link to our knowledge base that has additional information on the various options. All right, great. So I've set up bagel time so that today it's going into do not disturb. Does that make sense to everyone? Now remember, this is only calls that come directly to 6101. So if my coworkers were to call 6101, they would hit bagel time. It wouldn't ring. If you're, thinking about how to set up your phone system and you've got those calls coming in from an 800 number or your main telephone number, this isn't where we edit that. That's something you'll want to email to support@telware.com, and we can either show you how to do it on the admin side, or we can update it for you. We can do either. That's not a problem. All right, I'm going to delete this. I'm not actually using it, and then I'm going to continue on. Let's go into phones. All right. So from here, you can see these are my different phones. I've got Jessica's iPhone. I have a Yealink phone, and I have a web phone. Now, this Yealink phone here, I would like to change the button. So I'm going to hit my gear. And when it pops up and says Edit Button Configuration, I'm going to click Yes. And it will actually show me a little image of my phone. So this is what my phone looks like. I have one of the touch screens, so I have quite a few buttons. And if I click on a button like this, it will allow me to change what that button does. So some really cool stuff. I can put in a speed dial. So if I want to call Pizza Place, oh yeah, or Bagel Place, I guess would be better. You can go ahead and do that. Let me show you one more. I can change this button. One option that is very useful is user DLF. What that means is it does two things. Not only does it function as a speed dial, but it will also allow me to see when that user is on the phone. So I've set up Rachel here, and when Rachel's on the phone, the button on my physical phone will be red. And if Rachel's not on the phone, it would be green. I can also press this button on my phone to call Rachel. Now, I know this is physical phone stuff, and if we're working remote, we might not have access to our physical phone, but I like to show it because you can set up your own speed dials. Once you're all done setting up your speed dials, this is a tricky one because it says save, but what you really want to do is click this little arrow and go save and resync. Save and resync will actually reboot your phone to pull the latest information. If you hit save, it won't actually update until next time you reboot your phone. All right. This one here, you guys will never see this option because it's turned off for everyone so that they can't get themselves in trouble. All right, let's look at the next one, call history. Similar to viewing the call history on your phone, this is how you view your specific call history. Okay. If we were recording the calls, I could see them in here and download them, but I don't have any calls recorded on my extension. All right. I'm going to let Coley answer that one in the chat, Kathleen. Okay. Well, actually, you know, this might be useful to answer out loud. So there's a rumor floating around that if we take our physical phones home and connect them via Ethernet, they will work. Yes. As long as you have Ethernet power over Ethernet. If you do not have power over Ethernet, meaning your plug does not support powering up the phone, then you need to have a power adapter. And that's kind of a bigger conversation. But yes, you can take your phones home. You may need a power adapter to do so, or what's called a PoE injector, or there's a couple of different ways we can do that. But if you do want to take your physical phone home, feel free to contact TelWare to open a support ticket. Or the easiest way to test is to take it home, plug it into the wall, and if it doesn't power on, you know you need that power. Sound good? Did I answer your question, Miss Kathleen? Okay, perfect. All right. I only have, oh no, I got logged out. Oh, there it is. I only have a handful of more items that I want to show you in the portal. The first one is down here. There's this little pop-up that says contacts, and if I click it, it pops up all my contacts. I basically leave this up on my computer all the time, especially when I'm in the office, because I like to see all of my coworkers' extension numbers. And at TelWare, you know, we've grown so much recently and we have so many new employees that I have a hard time. I don't have them memorized. So I have to come in here, you know, I click my little search and I can find someone's phone number, someone's extension if I need it really quickly. Now, you notice I've also got my contact here that I can click to call if I need to, that I added earlier today. I've got my status message right here that I can update, the same status message I showed you on the mobile device. I can see Rachel's status message right here. So remember, what you put there is visible to your coworkers. We talked about messaging earlier, and I showed you that you could go in here, click on messages, click on chat, and then send a message that way. But my preferred way to do it is actually via this pop-up. So I click the little contacts pop-up, and then I click the little chat message, and it pops up like this. Ta-da! I like this method a lot better because it gives you that visibility, and I think it's more similar to, you know, the old school AIM, that sort of thing. Oh yes, it does actually pop out of the page. So you can, if you only wanted to see the extension list, you could pop it out like this, and there's all your extensions, though you don't have the chat if you pop it out. But it is very useful if you're like a receptionist and you simply wanted to keep all your extensions nearby and easy to find. One other cool thing, and one benefit to using the portal that you may not have on the or that you don't currently have on the mobile app, is let's say I'm currently chatting with someone and I'm like, I really need to see your screen. You know, we need to either share, you know, we're doing marketing and I want you to look at something, or, you know, I just want to do a video chat. I've got this little chat message here. This little video message here. So if I click the video, it's going to pop up like this. Sure, you can use my camera. It's going to pop up. It's on the other end. The person that I'm chatting is going to get a pop-up on their window that says, hey, James is trying to chat with you. Would you like to join? And once they click yes, then they'd be connected right here with me in the video chat. So we can see right now, hi guys, that's me. So we can see right now, and it's just me in this big conference room. Well, they haven't joined yet, but after they do join, I'd see them listed here in the participant screen. Over here, if we're doing this video call, you know, I have a mute button. I can turn my camera on and off, or I can share my screen, which is extremely useful. You know, if you're used to being in close quarters and walking up to someone's desk and saying, hey, let me see what you're working on. We can't really do that if we're all working remotely. So this is a quick way that you can share your screen with someone, okay? Doesn't look like I have the camera. All right, Brian, we'll deal with that later. It's probably just because, oh, there he goes. You guys see the little pop-up it gave me? Perfect. Thank you. All right. That's okay. That's the basis of how it works. When you hit the end call, it's going to boot everybody out. Perfect. So we like to use that little chat if you just need a quick face-to-face with someone, or the little video if you need a quick face-to-face with someone. All right, so that was a little contact. Two more things, guys. The web phone. I'm going to click on this. It might give me an error because I'm using my microphone for something else right now. Let's see. All right, good to go. So when I'm on my web phone, this is what's called a soft phone. It would allow me to make a call or receive a call without using my mobile device. So if I didn't necessarily want to use my my cell phone data, or I don't feel comfortable with the app, you can use this web phone. It's going to work very similar. If you notice, it does resize, so you can change the sizing if you'd like. I like to make it big because I'll show you in a minute why I like to make it big. So when I'm looking here, I have my contacts, which are all my coworkers. I can click on them to interact in different ways, whether it's chat, call, email, just like the mobile app. I can add people to my favorites. I can go into my voicemails. Remember, I don't have any right now. I can go into my call history, and I can go into my chat messages, just like I did on my mobile app. All right. Down here on the little plus sign, that's where my dial pad is hiding. So if I wanted to make an outbound call, I could. Let me hit the X. Let me show you why I like to make mine bigger like this. If I wanted to chat with someone, let's chat with Philip here. I like the way that it puts it on my screen when I minimize. See how it's going to put it right there on my screen? And then if I chat here, and then I'll minimize this chat, see how they all show up right here? And it's really easy to see my new messages, and they turn green when I get a new message. So that's why I use the larger view, because I just like the way that it displays my chats there on the right-hand side. All right, so I'm not going to talk too much more about this. A lot of these are exactly what I've already said. It's simply, rather than using your cell phone as the device to make calls and to manage your extension, you're using your computer instead. I will say, to use the soft phone, though, your computer or laptop does need a microphone and speakers. Okay. Depending on the mic that you have, though, the sound quality might not be the best. So that's something you'll need to test out on your individual devices to see if it works for you. Let's go into the last thing I wanted to go over, which is the the attendant console, excuse me. It's a little late in the day, so I'm getting my words mixed up. So first, I'm going to call one of my coworkers to go ahead and get a call going. I'm calling from my mobile device. So once my coworker here answers, we'll get some new options. There we go. So I can see that I'm on a call. I have a hold. I have a transfer. I can even send that caller to park if I would like. But my favorite thing is drag and drop. So if I just click right here, I can drag and drop this caller anywhere I need to go. This is great for a receptionist or someone who is taking those calls and sending them to other people. So let's say, all right, I got this call. You need to talk to someone else. So I'm just going to send you down here and transfer you. You can also transfer to someone's voicemail. So this is great if you're working on the computer, and I like to show it. Let's say I need to send someone to a group, because we have those, you know, whether it's your call center, your sales group, your support group. I can send this person to a group as well. We call them call queues, but you may have heard them as a ring group or a hunt group or something like that. They're the same on the system. So I do like to point that out. Let me get back to it because it's really easy to miss. The attendant console from the portal is right here. It's this little icon on top. You can also, if this is something that you think you're going to use a lot, it does have a unique URL, so you can add it to your favorites or your bookmark on your browser of choice. All right, guys, that's pretty much everything. We've got a minute left on our scheduled time, but I am more than happy to stay on and answer more questions if anyone does have any questions. Remember, the stuff we talked about today is users, specific users. If you have things that you need help with that are, say, admin or main number stuff, just go ahead and email us and let us know. Oh, you know what? There was one more thing I wanted to say. If you are a part of a group, let's say I'm in the sales group or the support group, when someone calls TelWare and it says, press 1 for service, press 2 for the office. Because I'm in that group, your mobile app is not automatically put in the group. By default, call queues or call groups, they do filter out your mobile app. So if someone calls my extension directly, my app will ring. If someone calls the group, by default, my app will not ring. Doesn't mean it can't. All it means is we have to specifically add your app to the group. So if you do have users that are going home and they're using the app and they're expecting to answer those group calls, email support, hey, I have users ABC, they're on the app, I need you to update their groups to send those calls to their apps as well. Does that make sense, everyone? All right, let's go back here and check the messages to see if anyone has any questions. Let's see. There it is. Okay, so we got no questions in the Q&A. Let's check over here. It's also helpful that you can video chat via the mobile app since many of our staff don't have webcam. You know, I've never done the video via the mobile app. All right, does anyone have any questions for us today? Does anyone, need additional support? I know that Coley's going to call Angela after the call, but is there anyone else that needs additional support? Okay. I do plan on sending an email to all of the attendees after this call. In that email, it will include our knowledge base. So we've been working on creating a customer-facing knowledge base with all these different tools and articles that you can go read so that if you do have questions, you can go there. I'm very much a self-service type of person. So, I like to be able to find the answer on my own. And I know that a lot of our customers do too. So I will include the link to our knowledge base in that email. That way you can go in. If you want to send your staff maybe a user guide on the mobile app, those are all in there. All right, well, I'm going to wait on the call for a few more minutes just in case there are any other questions. But thank you everyone for joining, and I appreciate you taking the time to watch this webinar today.